Welcome everyone. Long time no see. Your friendly neighborhood wombat here with another installment of Rebellion in an Hour. Here you'll see I'm playing my coach, trying to figure out what to do with this deployment here. Got a weird one. Got RotE, Mustafar, Salust, Corellia, everything on the right side with the exception of Magneto. Also got a Mon Cal or Mon Calamari with no Seleucami. And just for fun, we're playing base setup here. So standard in like tournament setting, this would be RotE setup, because that way you could put a Death Star under construction in Dagobah and then subjugate Utapau, still giving the rebels just one Mon Cal. But, sometimes it's fun to mix it up a little bit. So here I'm just going through setup, trying to figure out what to do, because obviously we're a long way away from Mon Cal, but we've got nice presence over on the right-hand side. So in theory, when I'm deploying here, I like to try to think about where the rebels might stick the base, and obviously the left-hand side is the most open. So you've got Kessel and Al-Hada and Yavin and all that. You got to get up to Mon Cal, and you can't get sniped on your way to Mon Cal too. So I go with the Death Star on the left-hand side, even though I got a real light ground force, and then I kind of overload the right side a little bit. Chalky going with deployment in Hoth, it looks like here, and then going to stick some units in the base. So this should be a fun one to see. I went with 2 Stormtroopers on Magneto. It's prone more to an early attack because you don't have an ATST there. But having the 2 troopers is nice because it can help, drop stuff off and subjugate and whatnot. So we'll see. I definitely didn't want my first... I didn't want them attacking first round on the right-hand side and risking wiping a fleet. So I wanted to make sure I had lots of armor on each location here. Since there's nothing starting next to each other, I don't really have a good way to back anything up. So we'll see how this plays out. I drew early promotion for Motti, which is almost always take for me. Especially if you think you're kind of starting from a down position on deployment. I don't have a lot to subjugate here. Just Naboo. Right, can't get to Kashyyyk, can't get to Mon Cal. Rebels are going to get a ton of stuff, so I'm gonna have to deal with that later by having extra leaders. So we'll see how this goes. Got Leia back to block, and opening with considering opening with a gather intel. It looks like so gather intel and secret intel combo. Now, that would be impossible to do because I don't have Tarkin available. So I just got to pick one. So I'm going to go gather intel, or maybe stolen intel. I feel like stolen intel is probably the better pick here, but we'll go with a gather intel. The idea is I could draw 2 cards early because the base is stuffed with units. And he's going to go ahead and false order the Emperor. That kind of makes sense. I don't have a lot to subjugate, so giving me that extra move doesn't really hurt him very much. It does open the possibility that the Emperor could block Build Alliance, but now that Reekin's on Sabotage and I don't have a whole lot of critical moves I need to make early, I'm debating on blocking this with Vader. I kind of like that idea because I need that Star Destroyer. Sometimes when it comes to blocking a mission, I think to myself, well, if Vader was on a mission that said build a Star Destroyer, would I have used him for that? And the answer is yes, because I didn't have anything else to do. So by blocking Reekin and having good odds to do that, it sort of lets me build a Star Destroyer. All right, off to subjugating Naboo. Now, I'm deploying fairly weakly there with just 2 assault carriers, but because he didn't start in Utapau, the most he can build out in Utapau this upcoming round potentially is 1 Y-Wing, maybe 2 if he does just one Y-Wing. Excuse the dog in the background there. So the idea being, he's going to try to build alliance now. Now, I could also try to block that with the Emperor, but wouldn't work because I went ahead and moved to get an assault carrier with him instead, an Ord. All right, and then Leia is going to attack out to block production in Mustafar over there. So we'll have a quick combat. Don't need to waste a card here, most likely because he's going to cancel and then retreat. So we'll do Armored Patrol. He will cancel and then retreat. And probably take a guy with him, maybe two, just one. All right. So that feels okay to me here. We'll do one, maybe get a hit. Nope. All right. Dead Trooper, blocked Mustafar. I can always unblock it with that Star Destroyer there. Now, little bit of a thing to consider here because let's see how the probes work first. All right, drawing Mon Cal is really nice here because Mon Cal's an actually pretty reasonable spot for the base to be. So drawing that early on a probe feels good. All right, let's see what we got here. So drew Promotion, which is nice, and Detain, which is a nice card eventually. And then I got a choice between Yularen and Sweep the Area. Now my Sweep the Area cards, Kashyyyk and Mon Cal, not that useful. Yularen seems like the right pick here, especially because I have Secure the Plans. Also have Motti that can use Promotion right away, and then we'll get into a big leader advantage here potentially. All right, let's see how everybody deploys here. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 in the base, so that's still only drawn 2 probe cards, but that's still pretty good. Again, I like the idea of drawing probes here because you're, it's going to be harder to explore because I've got a more awkward setup. So he drops a troop in Mon Cal, which makes sense in case I were to, pair up a couple of loyalty cards to flip that or whatever. Then at least it's still blockaded. He drops something in Utapau for the same reason. And then I just sort of spread out. I like the idea of the tank in... If you noticed already, Chalky's playing the RotE deck, so RotE deck's got Assault, so whenever you're playing against a Rebel using the RotE deck, it's nice to leave tanks behind. Sometimes it's nice to leave tanks behind anyway to guard against a sabotage, and you've probably heard me talk about that in previous episodes here. All right, so we're going to try to do a nice little combo here. We'll summon a leader, and we'll drop a couple of intel cards. Apparently, I'm also considering a detain. I'm not really sure why I was thinking about that, but maybe I had a reason at the time. I got some intel leaders, so we'll go ahead and do that. And here we go. So I've got a huge leader advantage here, only moving 2. And you'll notice because I didn't move to Mandalore last turn, I'm basically conceding that 3rd Mon Cal for being produced here. So we'll see how that goes. 3 Mon Cals is always a nightmare, but is what it is. All right, so I'm actually going to open with Stolen Intel here. The idea is I kind of want him to try to block that because it's going to be in my favor 3-2. He's got a big decision to make because he's got to figure what else is everybody else on. Now, Stolen Intel is actually a card that I want to go off, but by playing it early, it gives me, a chance to, that's kind of a terrible hand there, 2 rescues and a misdirection. So we'll get rid of the rescue that allows you to draw an objective and know that he's got another one. Now, that being said, RotE deck doesn't have that many rescues, so getting rid of 1, knowing he's got another, okay, that's fine. All right, so we got a Sabotage, and we got a Infiltrate that's gone off, sabotaging Ord Mantell. That feels okay. And now, since he decided not to block Yularen, I can play Tarkin, and now it would be 4v2 if Leia tries to block that, so he's not going to attempt that. I've got some nice cards, I guess. Bespin, Geonosis, actually not that great. Malastare. A lot of the middle part of the board. But again, that's okay. Every probe you draw means the better probes are hiding under it or something. And then we got Nal Hutta here. Nal Hutta opens an interesting decision because that Star Destroyer's either got to go to Bothaway to block production there next round, or I have to figure out something else to do, because for sure I want to go to Utapau. So we're going to go ahead and grab an assault carrier, a couple of ATSTs, deciding on whether or not to take the tank or not. Just leave it behind. I don't know. I don't love this because I'm kind of asking him to destroy an ATST, but I guess we'll see. Would have been nice if I had a striker there. That would have been the right deployment if I had one to cancel this card. But instead, I'll say no card next round. We'll try to blow this guy up here. One hit, he's dead. Then both my ATSTs survive. And we got a safe haven coming out. Okay, safe haven in Nalhutta. So then we're going to drop a couple of Mon Cals there, and they're going to get rampaging on the board early. Okay, still got a capture to pull off here too. Again, if he would have blocked with Leia in Utapau, let's say he tried to block Yularen or somebody with Leia, then I move in with Vader and have tag and have a nice capture to pull off on Leia. Again, we know he's got a rescue in here, but we just got to pull that out of his hands, so we're going to go ahead and try it. Alright, let's see how this goes. Got it. So instead, we go for a capture in Corellia, grab Dodonna. Dodonna seems on some level kind of like a lame leader to capture, but I really detest playing the assault, so I always think that's okay. Alright, and then we're obviously not moving to Bothui, because moving to Bothui means you're just going to get ravaged by those Mon Cals. So instead, we'll head out to Mustafar and free that up. Odds should definitely be in our favor here. This would be a nice time to play the tank card if I hadn't tossed it, but I tossed it. So instead, we'll just flip the combat. Flipping the combat takes away his ability to heal and gives me the ability to heal. So let's see how this goes. 1 damage on a troop. It's got no leader there. And we'll try to heal. I debated briefly on whether or not I want to do some sort of a retreat move here, like a retreat to Bespin. So what I'll do is I'll do 3 damage, but I'll do 2 damage to one and 1 to the other. And then I'll leave a TIE fighter behind. And I will also retreat to Bespin. Now that I have the Kill a Trooper card, I know for sure I can win this combat, free up Mustafar, and cover Bespin all in the same move. So I like that. I like that combo there. Now he could hold them back. He doesn't, but holding them back would just remove one of my units. So he's probably better off keeping the blow up a ground unit card. All right. So here we are, Vader in Bespin. Mustafar's covered. I got the 1 unit in Hoth to worry about, Endor to check still. I promoted, if you missed that move, I promoted Krennic's Finest to Corellia and then did the capture with tag. So that was my thought process there. So promoting Krennic's Finest gives me the edge when using a capture, obviously. All right, here we go. Starting the 3rd round here. Drew Fear will keep them in line. That's pretty cool. Still got Detain. Got to get the plans out there to secure. I got Boba Fett Wear. I could grab Boba Fett and then drop Boba Fett Wear on top of Dodonna if I had a torture card to use, but I don't really have one. So instead I'll just grab Ozzel here. Now why not grab Jer Gerard? Well, because I'm already max leaders, and if I draw Catch Them by Surprise, I can just keep the card. And if I draw Ozzel, I have a chance to draw his probe card, which is pretty good. If I take Jer Gerard and draw his card's not that useful to me at the moment. So I think there's a little bit more value to Ozzel than there is to Jer Gerard at the moment. All right, let's see what we do here. Trying to figure out how to deploy. Those 2 Mon Cals up top are kind of freaking me out. That to me kind of says the base is up north, but we probably knew that already. So got some thinking to do here on what to cover. So this is a build round, so we want to try to limit production if possible, but I mean, as you can see, the Rebels already have a ton of stuff. 2 Mon Cals out. I've got no way to subjugate Mon Cal, so we're going to get a third. I have no way to subjugate Nalhutta, so he's going to get 4 units on level 1. No way to subjugate Kashyyyk, so he's going to get 6 units on level 1. That's just gross. So, what can we do? We can try to find the base, right? We know he's got a rescue card, so we can try to plan for that. You know, you figure that's probably going to get pulled off early, and it's probably going to be Mothma that does it. So that makes sense. We'll just pull out his rescue. Now 2 of his rescues are in the discard pile. He's got critical left. So, you know, future captures will probably stick. So we're just going to start with our gather intel idea. He doesn't have Leia back anymore because, again, he had to use Mothma to rescue Leia to build alliance. So, I mean, that's free probes on there. So I'll draw 2, grab Dantooine and Utapau. Dantooine's obviously nice. Ilum's still on the board, and Leia doing infiltrate. It's fine, go ahead and do that. And then what I'm trying to do is force Akbar to make a decision before I move any fleets that are anywhere near where those Mon Cals are. Because if he advances to Bothawi, I want the opportunity to retreat the Star Destroyer, all those sort of things. So the easy target for me here is Hoth, because there's rebel troops on there. Now, I probably wished I had something else there as well, but, you know, maybe the round before I should have retreated the tank as well, so I could have left the tank in Bespin or brought the tank to wherever with me. Because now if I have to check Endor, I have to leave Hoth uncovered. I don't love that, but it's all right. We'll figure it out. All right, Akbar inching up towards Bothawi. There's Saw that he's got that's still on a mission. So anytime Saw's on a mission, you have to think about 3 damage or 3 fist missions. Could be like plant explosives or whatever. So I'd like to keep Vader back in case of that, especially because he went ahead and committed to a move with Akbar. It makes me think that Saw's on a pretty good mission here. We will see. Motti is going to go ahead and check Ilum. I don't know about this, but I guess the concept here is if I check Ilum and it's not there, then I can secure the plans and then move the Death Star back into the game later. Alternative would have been to move to Dantooine or Dathomir. Dantooine we know is not the base. Dathomir, if it is the base, that's bad, and if Yavin's the base, that's also bad for securing the plan. So we're just kind of playing it safe here. All right, see what Reekin's up to with Build Alliance. Gonna try to get another Corvette out of the deal here, and I don't know if I want to block that or not. I'm not real keen on giving him another loyalty. I don't mind giving him another Mon Cal. I'd rather not give him another Nebulon as well. So we'll try to block it with Vader and be successful on that. I don't know if that's a thing. Oh yeah, apparently I'm cheating. 2 dice. Let's try that again. 2. Alright, blocked. All right, we'll go ahead and secure the plans. It's kind of like a free move since he's not going to block it. And now we'll wait and see what Saw does. So blocking Build Alliance opens me up to whatever Saw's got in mind, Rogue Squadron Raid or something along that lines. It's not Demolition because it's not a base deck. And luckily it was only a Sabotage. Sabotaging Utapau prevents me from building an assault carrier. So he's definitely blocking my space production, which makes sense, because he's got Mon Cals on the board. So, you know, I need space to beat Mon Cals, and if he's blocking my assault carriers, then it's going to be hard for me to reinforce my Star Destroyers here. All right, why not block Corellia, you might ask? Well, because I've got 2 logistics leaders back, so either one could be on R&D. So Utapau's definitely the right pick there. So now I got fear will keep them in line. I would like to have gone to Bothawi and done that, but since Akbar's there, that's not going to happen. I could use fear will keep them in line in RotE to grab, Ryloth and Geonosis, but I don't like leaving the Star Destroyer there. So what I'm doing, since I have the Utapau probe, I'm just completely abandoning Utapau, which, gives me a spot to guard against, one less spot to guard against Raid Factory or something later on. And at this point, I think there's a reasonable chance he's in Ryloth. That move to Bothawi says, hey, maybe we're getting in position to cover the base. That is maybe on Ryloth. We know it's not on Tatooine. I feel like he wouldn't have picked Endor. It's not Kessel because we drew that probe. And Yavin seems a little bit risky since the Death Star was in Megiddo with a 2 Stormtrooper build there. So, I don't know, man, but I guess we'll see. So what do? I do fear will keep them in line on the Death Star to get a loyal Megiddo and a loyal Ord, and then R&D there. That gives me a ATST, an assault carrier, an AT-AT, and a fighter. Feels pretty good. All right, max leaders is nice. Drew a couple more probes. Got Alderaan, and unfortunately pulled Ryloth, or fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know. I didn't want my whole fleet trapped up there in a corner, but now it feels like maybe I should have gone to Naboo or something instead. So drew Ryloth, and now I have a choice. I can either pick Yularen's card and keep it, or I can pick Jabba the Hutt and replace a leader, like replace Motti, for example. But I kind of like Motti. I like having the logistics. I don't have a lot of power cards I need to play anymore with Jabba. I'm not planning on blocking a whole lot, so I'll just go with Yularen's card, even though it's terrible. I keep trying to find a good use for that card, and I can't quite figure it out. All right. What are we deploying here? We got a troop and a U-Wing in Mon Cal. Got troop in Kashyyyk, so we're starting to build up a little bit. Okay. So let's figure out kind of a logistics game plan here. I got one assault carrier in Coruscant that's really not going to be able to do much since everything around it's already developed. I got one assault carrier in Corellia that probably needs to go to Cato. I've got a Star Destroyer in Hoth that I would like to get to Endor. I didn't have a shield bunker though, which would have been nice to deploy there, but all my oranges are stopped for round 1. I decided to build an ATST on 2 to move down, but we'll see. I put a Star Destroyer in Mustafar with the idea of going to Dagobah to check that. So we can check Dagobah, Endor, Cato, and then probably move the Death Star up to a position where it can start consolidating in Mandalore as well. Maybe with that Star Destroyer and maybe with Assault Carrier that I moved to Alderaan. I'm not sure. Guess we'll see. But now that we know it's not Ryloth or Tat, we're pretty much eliminating the right side of the board, which, to be fair, we kind of did in the initial deployment phase anyway. All right. Also, things to think about. Could drop Yularen at some point. The downside with dropping Yularen is, well, first off, I don't have a great place to drop him. And then 2, if I do, then it pins whatever's there. So it's like my action cards are not so great this round. I did have Vader's card, but nothing really to use it on. I drew Break Their Will this turn, but I'm not really sure Break Their Will does me any good, even if I spend the actions to capture leaders and then try to break them after that. I mean, I already kind of generally will know where the base is after this turn, I think. So, yeah, I guess those are my thoughts so far. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 leaders, one of which is Luke. You got Luke out there. You need to think about him going to Dagobah to upgrade to a Jedi. Jedi Luke can be a nightmare to fight. And then Dodonna is digging around in Rebel Planning. So Rebel Planning, what do you want to think about with Rebel Planning? Well, it means he's not going to plan the assault this turn, which I guess he wouldn't anyway because he's on Heist. Or because I've got Secure the Plans out and he needs to Heist it. Alright. So he pulled Rebel Cell with that. That's kind of unfortunate because now I got to go to... Now I got to go to Nalhutta, and I don't... I mean, I have a fleet out there. That fleet's kind of got to go to RotE, Bothawi, Nalhutta to get there. And Rebel Cell sort of puts you on a clock. So I was hoping to play the long game here and kind of, you know, check the outer layers and then consolidate. But we'll see how we do here. We're going to try to detain with the idea of trying to pin those Mon Cals down. And then also try to gather intel. And then sometimes if you want the gather intel to go off, it's a good idea to play another mission just to draw out Leia as a blocker, or at least give her a tough decision. We'll see. All right, Akbar heading to Rapid, along with Dodonna. So, you know, Akbar doing a Rapid early, to me, sometimes that makes me think like, okay, well, we could be next to his base. So I check Endor. Motti's thankful that there's nothing there, although keep in mind that opens Hoth for a Rapid back. And then my next, and why Endor first? Well, if he is in Endor, then I have a movable group in Mustafar to react to the base being there. If I move them to Dagobah first, and they're not in Dagobah, but they are in Endor, then that second Star Destroyer is super vulnerable. So I feel like I probably should have played Rule by Fear here, maybe on Bespin or something like that, but we'll see. All right, we're going to gather intel with the Emperor. Not sure why I didn't use Yularen there, but okay. Emperor rolls 2, Leia rolls 1. Yeah, that was a weird pick on that one. Maybe I was trying to bait him into thinking it was something else, but I didn't have anything else I was trying to get through. All right, 2 more probes. Bothawi and Toydaria, more stuff in the middle. So again, not great. But now, realistically, we're at Yavin, Dathomir, or Nalhutta. And we got regional aid coming up, so we got full-blown loyalty in the Nalhutta region for support of the Hutts. We'll go ahead and go about our business here and subjugate or check out Dagobah. Base is not in Dagobah. Okay, so now we check Cato, and then once we check Cato, we just try to collapse on everything. And again, Rebel sellout, that's going to put us on a little bit of a timer here. Let's see where he sabotages. Okay, sabotaging up in Geonosis, maybe with the idea of trying to make us think we're in Ryloth and then overcommit towards Ryloth. Again, my move there last time clearly indicated I didn't have Ryloth, but I ended up drawing it with last round's probes. So you can see in this game, the probes are really kind of helping me because I'm not going to trap that fleet in the corner, you know. Although I guess I've trapped the Death Star in Ilum, and I trapped another Star Destroyer in Endor, so I'm not really too sure about any of that, but we'll just go with it. So I think the right move here, and again, the reason I haven't moved to Cato yet is because he could move those Mon Cals to, you know, say Mustafar, and then attack my carrier first. But since the Emperor baited out Leia to block, the Rebels don't have anybody to move there anymore, so that seems okay. And we got a recon with Luke. Now, here's the thing with Luke and recon, and maybe this is what I was thinking about with the Emperor, but I don't know if I give myself that much credit. You know, Luke's either going to do a fist mission or an intel mission, so keeping Yularen back, in theory, if it was infiltrate or, in this case, recon, I could just block it and then prevent Luke from playing Son of Skywalker. I mean, he could, if recon goes off, he could get regional aid back too. I mean, I don't love that, but I mostly just don't want Jedi Luke on the board. So I'll roll 3 to block and successfully block recon. That does, unfortunately, trap my ships there. But my detain trap didn't really work like I hoped it was going to. I was kind of hoping the Mon Cals would move and then I could detain them and then swarm them with the Imperial fleet next turn, but it didn't quite happen that way. So we'll consolidate Coruscant and Ord in Alderaan. And then I believe the next move will be the Death Star up to Ord. And then I can consolidate everything in... maybe not. Maybe it'll be to Megiddo. Although that feels like they're kind of baiting me out there. Yeah. So when you're playing the RotE deck, and there's a lot of fighters in the base and a Nebulon on its way, if you drop something in Megiddo, he could easily go behind enemy lines and wipe the Death Star. I don't have a bunker coming out, so safer to be an Ord in this particular situation. And then now I have a Detain, and I need to decide whether or not to use it or keep it for next turn. If I pass, he knows I have Detain. So I might as well just use it now, is sort of my thought. I could either pin Leia down and then draw more probes next turn, or I could pin Mothma down. I decided to go with Leia. I don't know about that, but 3. That's probably right. We want to draw more probes, so we're just going to go ahead and do it. Also, if he tries to heist, he's got less intel to do it, so I feel like that's probably okay. Really wanted to pin those Mon Cals, but so be it. Alright, so we've got Long War discarded into Rebel Cell. So what does that mean? It means that he's got objectives he thinks he can score. Alright, Dathomir and Hoth. So that was nice drawing Hoth, also nice drawing Dathomir. So like I said, you draw mediocre probes early, it frees them up for being better next round. So now we've got Yavin, Felucia, Seleucami, Mandalore, Nal Hutta available. And we're entering last leader draw here. I have a choice between Secret Facility, which I already have Finest for, or I can upgrade to Krennic. Krennic I'm not sure is too much of an upgrade. He'd be an upgrade over Motti probably, but instead I'm just going to go ahead and keep Motti, and we'll just go with Secret Facility. I have some nice targets for Secret Facility. What I'm thinking about in my head right now is Secret Facility in Kessel, then drop Imperial Might, and then drop and then 2 leaders on Imperial Might, and then move to Nal Hutta to check for the base there. That's what's going on in my head. I don't exactly remember how I play this out, but I remember very specifically that's what I'm thinking. And I'm thinking so hard about it, I'm forgetting to play the card. So we catch that here in a little bit. And Shockey lets me kind of unwind things a little bit. All right, so he's got a troop in Nal Hutta. Maybe a lot of troops, depending on if that's the base. And we'll see if he drops the Nebulon in the base or not. If he drops the Nebulon in the base, it probably means there's a heist coming up and maybe a Death Star run. Okay. I mean, he could have put anything in the base anyway. I'm not sure you would put an X-Wing or a Y-Wing in there, but it definitely, anytime the Nebulon goes in the base and Dodonna's not captured, you got to be thinking about, is the Death Star in danger? I don't have anything underneath it. So now I got to figure out what to do. Imperial Might is a huge commitment. I've got a Star Destroyer on the queue, but if I Imperial Might the Star Destroyer into Kessel and then wander it into the base, it's dead, because there's no way I'm beating 2 Mon Cals and Nebulon and 5 Starfighters or whatever. I also need to think about what happens if the Death Star dies. So if the Death Star dies, I still need transport in Megiddo. So I'll plop an assault carrier there. I'm going to go ahead and pick Kessel for my card. Mon Cal's another possibility. I could take Mon Cal, pick a striker, use the striker card to blow up a troop down there. I mean, I don't know. But Kessel seems like the logical pick, especially because I need to check out the base over there. Now, I'm thinking so hardly about Imperial Might here, mostly because I don't really play that card very well and I'm trying to use it. However, if I took a pause here and thought about it, I've got a leader advantage, and it's very unlikely he gets a unit onto Kessel. So even if he gains loyalty there, I can just, build there at the end of the turn after I reveal it. Now, the problem is if I build something there and he is in Nal Hutta, he could just attack out of the base next turn, and then I still wouldn't be able to check it. So I put 1 assault carrier back with some, and I need to make sure to have it there so I can deploy it in case I get Rogue Squadron raided with my, and then lose my Star Destroyer there. But I maybe have already forgotten what my plan was going to be. Just now I'm remembering what my plan was. And with all this fiddling around with units, Chalky's probably already figured out what my plan is before I've even done it. Because why would I not deploy that ATST somewhere? But we're doing it. So 99% Chalky knows what's going on, even without anything happening here. So we'll see. All right, he's got 2 guys in Nalhutta. So, if I Imperial might have start ATST and wander in there anyway, I still might die. So I guess we'll see how this all plays out. Yeah. But it depends. So we got Luke on a mission again. So Luke potentially trying to run either sabotage or infiltrate or heist or recon again, any of those 2 intel missions. So if I'm trying to prevent Jedi Luke from showing up, I should probably keep, either Finest or Vader back to block and also Yularen back to block. He's got Maydean as well. Maydean's going to make it tough. His base is not super thick at the moment, but if he draws base defenses, that's going to change things up. And there's lots of fussing around with missions right now, so it means we're probably at a pretty pivotal turn here. You'll find this in a lot of Rebellion games around turn 5, 6, 7, 8, where, there are key movements that you can make or not make that will totally swing the whole game here. Which combat card do you play? Do you play an action card or not? Major decisions here. And if you're not, like when I play Empire, I like to look at what leaders are back, because the leaders back kind of give me a general idea as to where I might be in relation to the base. So I probably should point out both those Mon Cals rapided back to the base last turn, right? So, do you rapid back to the base if you're in Nalhutta? I don't know, but I also don't know if you rapid back to the base if you're in Yavin or Felucia, for example. So, I'm just not sure enough. So we're going to definitely try Imperial Might here, and I'm going to set it up with Krennic's Finest because I want to lead to the idea that it might be Planetary Assault, right? Because a Planetary Assault on Nalhutta would make some sense right now. He does have Maydean back to block, so if I bluff it that way, it's believable. Would I just put Finest on Planetary Assault if Maydean's back? Maybe not. Would I put Finest and Vader? Probably not if I'm trying to block whatever Luke's doing. And then Emperor on Gather Intel again. That must be what I'm thinking. Put Emperor on Gather Intel, draw Maydean out. And then I must be under the idea that I'm just keeping Yularen back to block. Again, why not play Yularen's card? Well, I don't have anywhere useful to play it because I don't own anything in the Nalhutta region. I don't own anything in the Yavin region. I guess I could do Secret Facility and then lead in with Yularen next turn, but again, I don't have any troops nearby, so I feel like all that's misplaced. So we're going to kind of bluff Planetary, maybe. Try to hide what I'm doing a little bit. And then Riken's got a misdirect out. Okay, so who's he misdirecting here? He's going to misdirect, I believe it's Luke. And then this sets in an interesting kind of meta play that we have going on here. So when you're misdirecting, it means a couple things. You probably don't have many good missions out, but you probably also have a mission critical that you need to do. So misdirecting Luke means he doesn't want Yularen to block. Okay, so Luke could be on Gather Intel, but Dodonna's also on a mission, right? So what I'm hedging against, I'm saying, okay, what if Luke is on Heist? He doesn't want me to block him, right? So preemptively, I'm going to send Yularen to Ilum to hang out. Right? That way, if he blocks, or if he tries to heist, I already have a 3 leader there blocking, which is what I would have done had he not misdirected, was used Yularen to block. Now, if Luke is on Gather Intel, he can do it wherever he wants. So now he's got to decide, well, do I double down on the idea that I'm heisting? Because if he's not actually heisting, he could say play Medine down there and, I double commit or whatever. Saw's going with a sabotage. I'm not going to block that. I would have blocked, Rogue Squadron or something. But he's going to sabotage. He's kind of going with the idea of, okay, well, I'm going after the Death Star. I'm going to heist and then I'm going to plan the assault with Dodonna, maybe. So now I got to think, okay, well, let's just go ahead and go about our business and gather intel, right? So let's grab 3 and see if he blocks it with Medine. If he doesn't block with Medine, then that really makes me think he's on heist, because then he's probably going to drop Medine on the Death Star plans. Or he thinks I'm on planetary, one of the two. So now I think what he's thinking is, here we go. So Medine on heist. So he's saying you're not on planetary, or if you are, it's less important than me getting this heist off. So now if Luke heists, it's going to be 4 on 3. I don't hate those odds. I feel like that's probably pretty close to a 50-50 since Defender wins on ties. But I also have a big leader advantage here. So do I put Tarkin into Ilum to make it 4 on 4? I mean, what do you do in this case? Heist is such an important thing. Because if that Death Star is alive, I can get the base. Especially because I might not win ground. I mean, I do have an AT-AT or 2 over there, but I've lost crazier things than that. So I go ahead and send Tarkin to hang out, and now Tarkin's infiltrating, not planning the assault, but he's infiltrating. So infiltrate gives me an option of sending another leader to block that. Because again, I can't block heist, but I can block infiltrate. So right now it's 2-4 against 4. If Luke goes there, it'll be 6 against 4. If I send Ozzel there now, it'll be 6 against 5. And again, I feel like this is such a big round, I have to send Ozzel because it's an opportunity to block. So we're going to try it. I mean, I'm not too worried about the infiltrate per se, although he might not have plans because he used Dodonna in earlier too, so who knows. I do block the infiltrate, and then now I need to move to Mandalore. This puts the Death Star adjacent to most likely the base, because if the base was Nal Hutta, it wouldn't be such a desperation to heist there. So pretty sure it's Felucia, Seleucami, or Yavin. And so what I need to do is I just need to overload here. If he takes the Death Star out, okay, I still need some ships to fight off Mon Cals and whatnot. So I'm just going to go ahead and move everything to there. Now, Mothma could be on behind enemy lines. That's a possibility. Although I feel like maybe Saw would have been on that instead, or Akbar. And then Luke is on heist. So here we go, a huge roll. 2-4-6 for the Rebels. And then 5 for me. And Luke drops out 1 in a million. Okay, so now he's rolling 4 plus 4. So now I'm in trouble. But the reality is, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's got 7. So I could actually still block this. 2, 4, 5. No. Okay. So yes, he pulls off a heist. Yes, that means the Death Star is in a lot of trouble, especially because Akbar's there. But I pulled out 1 in a million. That was an expensive heist. We're going to go ahead and drop a unit in Kessel. And then Imperial Might. And then he doesn't have a level 3 objective out. And so now that I Imperial Might, I can save the Star Destroyer and just put the carrier on with the ATST and the TIE Striker. The TIE Striker for the purpose of, maybe canceling something, I guess, is maybe my thought on there. I'll drop it all into Kessel, and then with Vader, I'll go ahead and move to Nal Hutta. Now, Akbar could attack out of Nal Hutta and just wipe the assault carrier with a single Y-wing or something if he's there. But again, the heist is making me suspect that maybe not, and even if he does, then I know the base is there anyway, and then Vader can just move to RotE. Alright, Akbar attacking Mandalore. Okay, so Motti's there. Motti's got 2 space rerolls. He's not as terrible as he looks initially, but we're going for the Death Star, so let's just do it. He's going to bring the whole kit and caboodle here, especially since now he knows I'm not on planetary. And now we know he's not in Nal Hutta. Okay, so we've got a Star Destroyer, a Death Star, a Striker, 2 ACs, and 2 TIEs against 5 Starfighters, Akbar, and a handful of capital ships. So the Death Star will laser unless this is a trap. My guess is it's a trap. I don't think it's the -1 health card. Otherwise, I don't think he brings the Mon Cals if that's the deal, but hard to see. He probably plays either one of them right now, maybe. I don't know. He's got another Mon Cal coming, and he's got a build round, and he's going to get another Mon Cal on the queue, so they're not super important. So I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to play a card, and he says, no, you're not. It's a trap. Okay. So now we are off to a major battle here. This could go either way. I mean, I know it, because the Death Star there, it sort of feels like it's in the Imperial's favor, but there's a 50-50 chance this thing doesn't survive the first round, and again another 50-50 chance it doesn't survive the second, even if it does the first. I can't retreat, obviously, and if you open with the Nebulon card, well, he's probably going to open with the Mon Cal followed by Nebulon, and no Yularen to play his thing. We also realized we forgot to put a Mon Cal out on the queue from turn 3 from last time, so we remedied that and put that on deployable area. Alright. So, no card for me. He's likely going to block 2 red hits and then play the Nebulon card to make sure his fighters survive. If the fighters survive, I can just try to do damage to the, maybe the Corvette might be a decent target here. He picks the top. So he's going to roll first, so I'm going to have a chance to heal. See what Akbar does here. And then I've got max black, max red, 1 green. He's got max black, max red, max green. Terrible roll by Akbar here. Okay. He's got 3 rerolls. He's got 2 hits on fighters, only 1 hit on capital ships so far. Okay, 2 red hits, 2 black hits. Pretty bad roll there. Okay, so we'll take an AC and some TIE fighters. He wants to wipe the TIE fighters, so I don't play the TIE fighter card next turn. Again, he can remove hits off anything that's not the Nebulon. So I'll go ahead and kill the Nebulon here. And then I'll get 2 rerolls. So right now I've got the Nebulon plus 1 damage, basically. Because the 2 red hits are blocked. And pretty excellent roll on my part. 6 damage, of which 2 are going to be removed. And I can't do the damage. I could either wipe the Corvette and then put some. So I could do 2 damage on the Corvette, 2 damage on ships, 2 damage on something else. But easier way to do it is just wipe the Nebulon so it's not around, and then that gets rid of some green dice for next round too. And then I'll put all 3 damage on a single fighter, so he can remove 2 of them. And then I can take my pick on which one I want to die, instead of putting 1 on each and letting him choose which one he wants to heal. So we'll do that. And Death Star plans. Akbar going for the Death Star. Miss. Okay, that's nice. Okay, now we get a laser off here. He can cancel it with the Corvette card, but he also needs his fighters to survive, so he probably plays blocking black hits here. So I'll do 5 on a Mon Cal, try to wipe that out. He's kind of all in on this fight here. Transport card's a great card if you need to do a second Death Star trench run, blocking black hits. He does 1, 2, 3 damage, but heals 2 on the Mon Cal, so the Mon Cal's back alive. And then 3 rerolls with Akbar. Maybe roll the... yeah, we'll see. Okay, 3 black hits and another heal. So that repaired itself nicely. Mon Cal's down to only having 2 damage on there. He's going to wipe a TIE Fighter, 1 damage on a Striker, 2 damage on an Assault Carrier. So that's pretty brutal there. It's going to leave me with a single Star Destroyer if he wipes that Death Star. Alright, Motti with a counterattack here. You know, and some might be thinking, well, why not do the damage on a Starfighter instead of the Mon Cal? At this point, I'm going to need more than... I think the Death Star's probably toast or pretty close to it. So 2 damage to kill that leftover Mon Cal. Finish it off with some turbo lasers. And then I've got 2 more damage plus 2 fighters. So I got 2 fighters to wipe, and then I would like to roll another... I'd like to roll some more fighter hits. So I'm debating on whether or not I want to heal my Striker or go for another fighter kill. The green dice is less odds to kill a fighter, and I'm not going to wipe all the fighters, so I just go with most likely to take advantage of the dice. I think. Nope. I go for... maybe I go green and black would have been the way to do it. Apparently not. Alright. Heal my Assault Carrier. That was a nice roll. And then I got 1 damage. Heal the Striker. So I can wipe out a Corvette and a fighter, or 2 fighters and leave a damage on a Mon Cal or a Corvette. Knowing he's got a cancel card next round, that's going to be the best one to use. I think I got to wipe the fighters though and give myself the best chance of the Death Star surviving. Thinking. 2 and a damage on... nope, we just go 1. Oh, 2 Y-Wings, okay, I don't know about that, but 2 Y-Wings and 1 on the Mon Cal. And then here's the roll for Death Star plans. Akbar round 2. Oof, no Death Star kill. That's tough. Tough luck. Tough luck for Akbar. Alright, 3rd round. Anytime you got Death Star rolls without 1 in a million, you got a 50-50 chance of doing it. So, 1, 2 misses. That's unlucky, not impossible for sure. Alright, he cancels my TIE Fighter card to do a damage, which likely he will cancel because he needs those Starfighters alive again. Now I only need to do 2 damage. Okay, he's got 3 hits so far. 5 hits. 5 hits and a black repair, which doesn't do anything. Alright. You could do max on the Star Destroyer and max on the Assault Carrier. Okay. So everything's equal damaged. And now I need 2 hits. Got them both. Okay, so both the fighters are gone. And then the Mon Cal's gone. And 1 more hit and I'll wipe the Corvette too. Brutal run for the Rebels there. Reroll these 2. Motti's looking for another promotion this game. Okay, heal something. Heal the Star Destroyer. It's got 3 damage on it. And then Corvette's got 1. At this point, Corvette's probably good hanging out. The problem being that I can capture Akbar if he decides to hang out, because I got the Star Destroyer card. However, I want to keep the thing alive, so I just block a hit instead. I value that more than capturing Akbar at this point, since his card's already used. No hits. Maybe I should have gone for the capture. Max dice, see if I can get a heal. Yep, I do. Okay, heal. Corvette's toast. It's a tough position for the rebels to be in there. And then at this point, we talk about it briefly. I indicate that I have a laser, meaning, and interestingly enough, I also have the Yavin probe. So at this point, we actually decide to call the game. Technically he could have been on Seleucami or Yavin, but the opening next round would have been, check one of the two, move to the other two, move the other one, and then proceeding as planned with the laser. So yeah, rough Death Star run there for the rebels. Could have gone either way. Yeah, you saw both AC and Death Star were crushed at one point, and then if the Death Star would have failed to heal, that would have done it too. All right, well, thanks for watching this game. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I got another one I'm almost done with, and we'll try to get that up in the next week or so. Take care, guys. See you around.